Hello, and welcome to the Reflection B-side episode of the All Red Berries and All B-side Speedrun tutorial series. In this video, we'll be going over the strats needed to get through Reflection B-side quickly and consistently. A quick note for the Benny % runners, the Reflection cassette route strats are in a short video tutorial linked in the description below. The rest of the intro here, though, is targeted at all Red Berry speedrunners, so if you'd like to skip that, feel free to use the timestamps in the description of the video as well. First and foremost, I'd like to briefly talk about why 6B is used in the All Red Berries speedrun instead of 6A. So if we first looked at where all the berries in Celeste are found, we'll notice two things. There are no berries to collect in Reflection, and we need access to the core to collect the final 5 berries. In order to access the core, we need to have completed Summit and have 4 hearts collected. So the 4 fastest hearts to collect in the A sides are found in chapters 1 through 4. However, the heart collection in Old Site takes an extra 20 seconds that can't contribute to any other progression, as the heart itself is completely separate from any level progress or berries. In any %, collecting the Reflection cassette and completing 6B is faster than completing 6A by around 20 seconds, but the reward is low and the risk is high since 6B is very punishing for any mistakes. However, since we're using 6B to both get through the berryless Reflection chapter faster and to collect our 4th heart, we spend 20 fewer seconds in Old Site earlier in the run, giving the 6B route those extra 20 seconds as automatic time save. The combination of these two factors makes 6B a very viable choice for the All Red Berries route. It's still important though to emphasize that 6B is an incredibly difficult chapter that will take a lot of practice to get consistent with, so if you're already happy with your 6A time, don't feel pressured to include 6B in your All Red Berries route. Just remember to get the heart in Old Site. Now on to 6B. Something you'll notice immediately here is that you can have control of Madeline before you can fully see where you're going, which is how I managed to get the Kevin block all the way up to here without really having much visibility quite yet. So it's important to kind of learn the timing of that when you first enter the chapter. So for the movement at the very beginning here, you can just dash left and buffer a down right dash to hit the Kevin, and dash down into him to get up through this gap once you're aligned with it. And then once you pass the spikes on the left here, you can walk off of the Kevin and dash into his left side, like this. And then dash up to send him up here, and we'll repeat the same thing up here, where we walk off the right side now, to hit the Kevin. And then we can extended hyper and upright dash, and just do climb jumps to get out of the room there. From here, the feathers you can't really do anything fancy with, except for up here. If you dash right in this tube from the very top, you can get those dashes to go all the way right without really stopping. Except from between the 2nd to 3rd dash crystal, you don't want to buffer the dash, because you could hit the spikes on the top by doing it like that. You don't want that to happen, so make sure to delay just a tiny bit before going on. And as for the exit, you don't need to go for a wall bounce, you can just climb up this right wall instead. So after the transition here, we'll be kicking off of the right wall near the top of it, so we can wave dash and then up left here onto the top of this bumper, and then take this top of the bumper boost to then dash up through this gap here. Make sure to maneuver so that you're safely getting through the center. Then hit the side of that bumper, dash up into the feather, and take the feather out through here. You can also wall bounce exit over here, but if you're not quite getting enough momentum, it's okay to just dash upright as well. So for this next room, what we're going to be doing is we'll be wave dashing at full height, and then dashing right. And if you time that just perfectly, to the point where you have the full height of the wave dash, you can dash right onto the top of the Kevin here, and then buffer a down dash into it, so that you can immediately activate it. If that's a little too hard, you can just slow down and do something like that, no big deal. And after buffering this, you can go for an extended super over the top. Then you'll be falling down here. You can fast fall to it if you like. And then you can kick off near the top of this Kevin, to then demo right under here to grab the feather. If the demo feels too dangerous, you can also dash under, like that, at an angle. Then just dash upright after grabbing the key, to get over here, or grabbing the switch rather. And from here we're going to hyper through the transition, and then kind of gotta wiggle your movement to make sure that you go down and around the spikes there. Optionally, you can just hold down after crossing the transition. You'll just be a little close to the bumper. So hyper through the transition and can hold down, then dash into the bumper here, and then dash up so that you hit the second bumper about exactly on the right side of it. And then for this bumper down here, you'll want to hit an upward angle on it. So you can dash up, do 2 climb jumps, and then get over to this final bumper. The last bumper is a bit finicky. You gotta make sure that when you fall into it, you get the good angles that don't send you either straight up into the spikes or too low into the spikes on the sides. So be very careful to watch the angle you're hitting that final bumper at there, to make sure that you get through this room safely. Now from here, we'll be going for a hyper bunny hop and do a bumper boost off of this bumper, like this, so you can then wave dash, get that bumper, and continue through the rest of the room like this. To explain that a bit more in depth, bumper boost, and then off of this first platform we wave dash, and then from this crumble block we need to jump and grab the left side of this crumble block up here so that it lasts longer, and then we will wave dash off of it, upright to here, then just jump through and upright so that we can bounce off the top of that bumper and get up here. From here we got 2 choices for how to transition into the next room. First choice is we can do a hyper corner boost, and then dash down right after the transition to slide off of the grass at the end here. And then dash down right into the Kevin. Oop, a little bit too fast there. So that's the first option. The second is 2 wave dashes like this. The speed isn't too much different. And then this final room is pretty much just an auto-scroller. Just do your best to hit the Kevins as early as you can. For the final switch down below here, you can kind of frame greet it, but that gets pretty dangerous because you want to make sure that you hit this switch and get all the way over here with the door up, because if not, you've pretty much just wasted 15 to 20 seconds. Heading into the next room here, we're going to enter with a super, and then go for a demo hyper immediately into just some wave dashes here, and a down dash through the transition at the end there. And then now we have good 8 rooms of falling section coming up. So what we'll need to work on here is trying to fast fall whenever possible, and there will be some risky diagonals you can go for. Just you'll have to weigh yourself which ones you would like to do. So in this room here, you can go for about 3 diagonals pretty safely. I didn't quite get the last one. Doing any more than 3 diagonals becomes extremely difficult though. I personally prefer 2 the most, excluding the final diagonal here, because I feel that's most consistent for me. So I do it to the side on that last dash instead of diagonally. But if you need to take this even safer, it's fine to just do side dashes. Then when you get down to the bottom here, what you're doing is you'll be going for a wave dash off the underwater platform, and then an upright dash into a right demo hyper, like that, to just fling you through the transition here. And then heading down here, oh, bad safe state. Let me fix that real quick. Heading down here, we got a couple more diagonals we can do. The second diagonal of these 2 is free, the first one might not be. Just pay attention to your positioning there. The second though, you will always be able to hit the Kevin, so no worries on that one. Then you're just kind of hitting the Kevins and back, bouncing back and forth, fast falling here whenever you can. From here now, once you hit the water, you can dash upright and then dash to the right to just get you up here. And then from this ledge you can hyper through. And then you'll have to go for a reverse wave dash right here. You could also just dash down and go for a hyper if the reverse wave dash is uncomfy for you. Then boost off of that bumper, and then another hitting the side on that one, just to get you down to here. From here in the water, we're going to be doing a downright dash, then a wave dash off of the underwater bit, then an up dash, and you can either go for a demo hyper, or let yourself bounce out of the water a little bit and go for a wave dash. Either way works. The demo hyper is a little bit faster if you can get it out though. And then after going for the transition here, you're going to transition hyper through here. And you can fast fall through this section, but it's a lot harder and more dangerous, so again, up to your own discretion. That one's just get through. From here now, once we land in the water, we're going to right dash until we're on the grassy platform here. And then from here, we can do a hyper bunny hop, and then a wave dash after the transition to get us over through here. Now from here you can go for a couple more risky diagonals down to the Kevin. Well, the first one's really the risky one, the second one's pretty free. But you just want to be really close to the spikes on the right side of this gap here, because if you're too far to the left, you don't even really give yourself much of a chance. But yeah, just down right at the gap here, and then down right into the Kevin. Now for the rest of the strat here, you can do kind of an early jump to try and fling yourself into the gap, but there is the danger of hitting the spikes here. So the safest thing to go for here is just wait until the Kevin's hitting the very end of its path, and then just hold left and fall, and you'll be able to fall right off of it through the gap no problem, using the momentum. And just kick off of here, off of the wall side here, and fast fall through the gap. Then you want to land on the little green platform down here, and we're going to do a water boost. So the way that works is I'm going to hyper, and then do another jump with my second jump button kind of late. You can see that little extra dust cloud there later on is from the second jump, and that's what gets me all the way up and over through here. So you go for that hyper into the extra jump, and then bunny hop after the transition. And here there's a spot where you can actually, it's almost easier for me to fast fall. And that spot is starting about here, fast falling down to here. If you don't fast fall down left here and you hold left, then you run into that spike. If you do fast fall, you make it every time. So I just prefer to fast fall for this little bit here. And you can just fall as you wish there. Of course, be careful of spikes on all sides as usual. And then you want to land down here, so you can go for a hyper bunny hop through the transition here. And then you can go for these diagonals. They aren't so bad. This one at the end though, you gotta be careful of. Again, alternatively, you don't even really need to go for the diagonals. You could do this kind of funny strat where you hyper bunny hop here and then dash down and then to the right. But it's a little bit awkward, so I'd recommend just trying to learn the diagonals. Then when you land in the water here, you can dash upright and then to the right to get yourself over to here, and then you'll do a hyper where you hold jump to make sure you clear this lip in the next room here. So hyper hold jump, and here we have the demo coming up, the infamous 6B demo. So that's about where the demo is taking place down there. And to accomplish the demo, you just gotta kind of get used to the height for it. So if you see the gap there, you're going to be trying to squeeze through that gap to Madeline's left. So it's 8 pixels, so it's a little bit easier than a normal demo. But still, it's going to take some practice. When you go for the demo, you want to be about in line with the dash crystal that you first grabbed, because that'll make it so it's easy to grab the second dash crystal immediately after hitting the demo. Kind of like that. And then just gotta be really careful squeezing through these last couple gaps there. Alright, and now heading into near the end here, we're going to be going for a wave dash underwater here again, and do an upright and do a demo hyper. And then after the transition, we can do another wave dash to get sort of grounded ultra speed going for us. And then we got a dash pattern you can do here. This is the slightly safer one that I'm going for right now. A more difficult one that's slightly faster, looks like this. Then after the dash pattern in there, you're going to be trying to do an ultra to exit this room, like that, so you can immediately go into the next room dashing upright and get that on. So for the ultra here, you're going to be wave dashing off this first platform, and trying for a wave dash off here, and then a jump in the water. You can also try to get a corner boost off of this corner, but it's not too important if it serves to be difficult. and you upright in the battalion, and then kick off of that falling block back to the left. Then you can dash into here, and take the spring and dash upright in the battalion. And then for this block over here, you can kick off of it and then fast fall if you do a tiny jump. So you can fast fall down right, and then immediately go to dash to this spring. And after hitting this spring, you can dash right in the battalion, even though it looks like she's up to the right. You can do a right dash at the peak of your jump. And then from here, we're just going to extended hyper under the space and then upright into battalion. Heading into this next room, we're going to hyper through and then down right straight to battalion. And then we're going to be working with a visual cue here to get a corner kick like that. So the visual cue we'll be working with in the background after getting bounced off of battalion here is just before Madeline reaches the tip of the little crystal that's kind of sticking out in the background, like this crystal that I'm currently at the tip of. Just before she reaches the tip of that, you want to be dashing upright. And then after that, you gotta do kind of a late jump, a little later than you would expect, to kick off of the corner of that falling block. Then after that, after kicking off the corner of the falling block, you can wait a little bit and fall so that you can get beneath the fireball that battalion is firing off right then. Heading into this next room, after you take the feather, you can wave dash out of the feather through the transition like this, and then just go like those dashes for the start of the room back there. Oh, looks like I have a bad save state. Let me fix that. So you can go for a wave dash here, then right, up, right, and then right in the battalion. And then you want to dash up so you can land on this platform. Then there are a couple different ways to approach this next section. My personal preference is like this, but that can be a little bit difficult and fast. So instead, you can choose to wait a little bit, and instead of doing an extended hyper like I normally do, like this, you can go for an extended super, and then kind of delay a little by dashing up there. It's a little bit safer and easier to work with. Then you just dash into the feather, and take the feather all the way to battalion, where you can down right out of it. You can kick off off of the wall and then immediately dash to the right. That's what it was. Immediately dash to the right so that you land here. And once you land here, you can hyper through to hit the feather. And then just wrap around, following this path of what coins you're hitting before hitting battalion. And then we want to go wide around this one, so we can go for a wall bounce without getting hit by the fireball there. Then we got another fast strat opportunity up ahead in this next room. The way it works is after battalion bounces you up to the wall, you just down right down to here, and then do a right dash through the transition, then another right dash, and then you should be able to space that so you just fall through the gap here, and then down left to get to the dash crystal down below. Then kick off and quickly dash to the side. And what this does is it lets you cycle skip the first laser, but if you're quick enough, you can also cycle skip that fireball. Like this. So then, for this next bit, another cool looking skip. It looks far more dangerous than it is. You can just dash down right when you're pressed up against this wall, and then hold down, and you'll make it through this gap. Every time. Then you just move into battle in there, and dash left and then up left to get the feather, wait for the laser a little bit, and then get to the crumble blocks here before an extended hyper, and then upright into battalion right there. We enter this next room with a super into a wave dash and a right dash into the Kevin. Then we'll go for a reverse hyper under it here, and then up left to hit the right side of it. And we'll just carry on with this Kevin block over to here, where we want to climb up a little bit high, and then wait for the dash crystal on the left to pop in. The same instant it pops in, we'll dash into the Kevin, then we can just do a climb jump off of it, and dash up through the dash crystals here. So climb jump and then dashing through the dash crystals. For this next room, we'll be dashing upright to the upper green platform here, then hyper bunny hop, and dashing up onto this crumble block. From here, we need to do a super from either the middle or left side of the crumble block to make sure that we clear the spikes right here. Now here we have a really precise trick coming up. The way you'll want to do it is, first of all, you'll want to climb just a couple pixels, climb up 1 or 2 pixels here. And then the lineup that you'll be looking for is you'll start the inputs next as soon as Madeline is coming into contact with the green sort of foliage in the background, right about there. So the trick here is, after climbing up those couple pixels, you'll need to input jump and then downright dash very quickly. So it has to be holding downright, then jump and dash, almost in instant succession, like that, and you'll slide right into Battleland. After going for that, you got another visual cue right here, where the foliage just above me here. As soon as you're lined up with that, you want to dash straight down so that you can hit the right side of that bumper, and then be able to dash into Battleland over the wall there. From here, we'll be hypering into the next room, and then you can hold down, and then dash left into that first bumper, and up left into the next, and just down right into Battleland. And you quickly kick off of that left wall, and then dash into the feather. From here, we want to take the feather to about this position, and then dash right so that we can bounce off the top or slightly right of top of this bumper, so that we can get to this wall. From this wall, you have 2 choices. You can climb to the top and then go for a corner kick on the switch block up here, like that, or you can go for a top pixel jump, like you would see in 2500 meters, to dash immediately upright into Battleland here. After that, once Battleland knocks you back here, you're going to go for a reverse ultra, so reverse hyper from here, and then downright dash immediately after. And then upon entering the next screen here, you'll dash down left into this little nook, and then we'll do the exact same thing again, a reverse ultra. You can't do it instantly though, because you'll either slide off there or hit the spikes, and if you're too late, you'll hit those spikes. So you want to be doing the downright about on the tip of the center of this red flower in the background. So reverse ultra, then you jump and upright into Battleland here. Now from here, you'll fast fall, and as soon as you clear the spikes, start fast falling left for a little bit, so that you can get a left dash onto this crumble block down here. From here, we do a short hop to align ourselves horizontally, or vertically rather, with the next crumble block here, and then we can go for an up left dash into Battleland after a demo hyper from the crumble block. So from here now, we will fast fall downright to the point where we can diagonal down into the top of this Kevin. And then we have a bit of an interesting strat going on here. You'll want to hold left to make sure that you fall a little bit slower against the Kevin after you've dashed into it. So like the little bit of dust clouds that pop up when you do this, you want to do that very briefly on the side of the Kevin here, and then let the momentum take you all the rest of the way down to the bottom of it, so that the same instant the Kevin hits the stone wall and stops moving, you're jumping off of it to the right. Like that. If that feels too awkward, you can just fall to the very bottom of the Kevin, hit it, and then climb up to the point where you're safe, just barely below the little bit of stone and spikes there, and then jump over. And from here, we'll fast fall again, and then immediately dash left when we clear the spikes to hit the left side of the bumper down here, so that we can then use that momentum to dash straight into Battleland. If that goes wrong and you hit a diagonal of this top bumper, that's okay. Just try and dash left after that to get to the far left bumper, and then dash over to Battleland. Now from here, we'll fast fall again, and then as soon as we clear the spikes, immediately dash right. And then we can go for a hyper B-hop, a hyper bunny hop from the first crumble blocks to the next one. However, you have to be careful not to do the tiniest jump possible for the hyper bunny hop, or else you'll just wind up on the side of this platform, which is a little bit more awkward. So make sure to just hold jump for a little bit. Then after hitting battle end, you'll dash right and can land here. And from here, we'll go for a transition hyper, and then an upright dash into the feather. And then to manage the laser here at the very beginning, we'll want to dip down into here to make it go down a little bit. And then you'll hopefully be able to dash down right into the feather here. If you didn't quite have the momentum, you might need to dash right, but that makes it so you can't do a cycle skip later in the room here. A good way to know if you can make the cycle skip is if you impact this Kevin, the bottom of it, the same time that the laser goes off from battle. So here we'll follow this sort of groove of foliage along the top here until the laser's about to fire, then we'll duck below it, like that, and then dash right to hit the side of that bumper. And what you just saw there was the cycle skip. So the cycle skip that's occurring here is beating the laser around this bit right there. And now what we're doing right after this is we'll take the feathers so we can do a bumper boost off of this bottom bumper and dash up to get the side of that bumper. Then we can wave dash off of here and dash down into battle. Just a quick note before the final room here, there is a much harder strat we'll be calling Neurocycle that saves about 2 to 3 seconds. You'll find a link to the Neurocycle tutorial in the description below. For this final room, after hitting battle end, you can dash down and land either here or here. And we'll be going for an extended hyper into a super off the very beginning right here, and then a quick corner boost off of this corner, into a wave dash, and an upright to hit the top of that bumper. So hit the top of this bumper, then the side of it, and then you can dash up to get yourself in the little nook here of the L block. And from here, we'll dash up to hit the side of this next bumper. Dash up, like that. And then from this final block, what we can do is we can wait just a little bit, so we can choose the demo over the top of this. And then off of that demo, we can get a right dash through the heart. Or if that's a little bit too difficult, you can instead just go here, bumper boost off, and dash through the heart. And that's all of 6B. If you're learning 6B as an individual level, a solid goal time to aim for would be 5 minutes 15 seconds, or even under 5 minutes if you're really trying to grind down your times. If you're learning 6B for all B-sides or all red berries though, you should be focusing more on having a strong average for 6B. So something like 5 minutes 45 seconds or less if you can, since consistency is far more important for a full game category. That's all for reflection. See you in the next episode in Summit.